You know what happened? I got ill in Riyadh, and I wanted to fight, but I took the doctors and my dad's and my team's advice, and we pulled out the fight. I'm gutted about it, but shit happens in life. But I'm back now, guys, and I can't wait to give you guys some fight news soon. I want them all.
The sport of boxing. I don't know how or why he's got this shot. Don't think he deserves it. Hasn't beaten anybody of any note. Loses all of the big fights.
The boxing world thrives on contrasts. Every era delivers a matchup that pits ambition against experience, promise against proof. In the case of Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker, we have one fighter still searching for redemption and another who appears to be peaking at exactly the right time. They're faced
We're saying that after the Parker thing, that I'm ducking people, but right now I just want to deck someone.
So you'd have any one of those names right now.
Hey?
I said you'll have any of those names right now.
Face-to-face confrontation on ESPN captured this dynamic perfectly. Dubois came in loud and fiery, raising his voice and shouting about how he would deck Parker. Parker, by contrast, sat calm and collected, a picture of quiet authority. The irony wasn't lost on observers. This is the same Dubois.
I know that he broke him down, right? He broke him down, he was patient. Then Dubois did, for me, looked better. Like landed some good shots in the beginning, it was going back and forth. And he got Usyk's attention, but he was patient. Feints, movement, footwork.
Once pulled out of a scheduled fight with Parker, now trying to talk tough as though he holds the upper hand. For Parker, who has already battled some of the best heavyweights in the world, Dubois' outburst was little more than background noise. His response cut through the bluster with the cool confidence of a man who knows his worth. He didn't need to shout. His resume speaks loudly enough. When Parker reminded viewers of what everyone saw in Dubois' loss to Alexander Usyk, the contrast between the two men became even clearer. Usyk didn't just beat Dubois, he dismantled him. Piece by piece, Usyk stripped away every weapon Dubois thought he had. The patience, the feints, the angles, and the relentless movement exposed Dubois.
Nelson, we're about to put out an R&B album, so don't you worry.
I'm your backing dancer, man.
Now, you might not believe we're in Saudi Arabia because we're both
A fighter with plenty of power but very little adaptability. Parker seized on that truth, making it clear why he sees himself as the one worthy of calling out the division's elite. That's the core difference between the two. Parker is chasing greatness, while Dubois is chasing relevance.
But when you get to elite level, you can't get away with it. I don't think Daniel has the capability, strength in regards to talking to his dad or standing up to his dad or standing up to that setup. I don't think he has the strength to do that, and which is why it will always hold him back. You got to look. This is personal business, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. Caroline, she, as far as I know, she doesn't work with her dad. There must be a reason.
Parker is already looking toward the very top of the mountain, talking confidently about Usyk and the world titles, while telling Dubois their fight can wait. Dubois, on the other hand, can't resist dragging Parker's name into the spotlight, desperate to settle what he calls unfinished business. Yet Parker and many fans remember that the first fight between them was cancelled because Dubois was the one who walked away. This history is why Parker's calmness resonates so deeply. He isn't rattled by Dubois' attempts at intimidation. He doesn't need to be. Parker has shared the ring with genuine threats like Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz Jr., Dillian White, and Zhilei Zhang. He knows what real danger feels like. In comparison, Dubois' anger feels hollow, less a battle cry for greatness and more a plea for relevance. Parker has built his career on proving doubters wrong. Dubois, meanwhile, continues to fight under the shadow of two devastating losses. First to Joe Joyce,
Daniel Dubois, and not to fight fire with fire. I think the better technical boxer is Joe.
And to Usyk. The mental scars from those defeats still haunt him. Against Joyce, Dubois couldn't find another gear and bowed out with a broken orbital bone. Against Usyk, he folded under sustained pressure, unable to adjust. Those images still linger in the minds of fans and analysts. Former cruiserweight champion Johnny Nelson has been especially blunt about the difference between the two fighters. He argues that Dubois isn't just fighting his opponents, he's fighting himself. At the elite level, heavyweights can't afford mental baggage, and Dubois' baggage is heavy. Nelson emphasizes that composure, timing, and footwork are far more important than raw aggression. In his view, Parker embodies those qualities, while Dubois still relies on a single predictable plan A. Perhaps the harshest critique comes from former world champion Carl Frosch, a fighter whose career was built on grit, survival, and...
Up until that round, I thought it was a pretty good fight to watch. And Daniel's obviously very disappointed. He's in the dressing room at the moment, and if he's going to come back, he's got to learn from it. He's only 27 years of age. I look back at, Frank Bruno, for example. 3 times he fought for the world title, and he got it in the fourth attempt. And Daniel, he's won a world title. So
sheer determination. Frosch says he measures fighters by their willingness to embrace what he calls the warrior's code. Looking at Dubois, Frosch sees a man who has yet to prove he possesses that inner fire. When Joyce broke him down, Dubois quit. When Usyk applied pressure, Dubois folded again. Frosch doesn't mince words. Power means nothing without the courage to walk through adversity. Parker, on the other hand, has shown that courage time and again, whether hurt, pressured, or dragged into deep waters late in fights, he has always found a way to survive. That resilience is what separates the true elite from the rest. Dubois himself has admitted that the Usyk loss still burns inside him. He speaks with anger, promising to silence critics and fight anyone who doubts him. But as many analysts point out, anger isn't strategy, and frustration isn't confidence. Parker has been through similar low points. He's been written off.
You're not in party mode, you're in fight mode. You're in, I could be walking to a certain death mode here. This is the hurt game. This is a dangerous, hard sport where people get seriously injured in there. And when you're fighting, you want to be in the mode of fight zone, fight mode. Let's go, I'm going to battle, I'm going to war, I'm a fucking warrior. I'm going in there to do some damage.
And counted out, yet he rebuilt himself with composure rather than desperation. That is the real difference between them. Even Mark Tibbs, a respected trainer, sees both sides. He praises Dubois' natural size, heavy hands, and growing gym confidence. But his encouragement carries a familiar ring. These are the same compliments trainers have given Dubois for years. Time and again, his physical tools have failed to translate under the bright lights. As many point out, natural size doesn't equal natural composure, and Parker has never been intimidated by bigger, stronger men. Analyst Andy Lee digs even deeper, describing Dubois as the prototype of a modern heavyweight, tall, muscular, and dangerous looking. But when matched against the division's true giants, he shrinks. Dubois doesn't have Zhilei Zhang's sheer size, Deontay Wilder's explosive power, Anthony Joshua's refined technique, or Usyk's brilliance and craft. He's solid in every area but
My radar. I want to put someone to sleep again and get back out there and show the people that, I am the man. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for it.
Exceptional in none. Lee's point cuts to the heart of the matchup. Parker has already faced and survived fighters with those extreme strengths. Ruiz's blazing hand speed, Joshua's combinations, Zhang's power, Parker has adapted to them all. Against Dubois, Lee argues, Parker is facing a diluted version of challenges he's already overcome. Promoter Eddie Hearn agrees. For years, critics wondered if Parker lacked the hunger to chase true greatness. He had all the tools. Fast hands, a solid jab, underrated toughness, but often seemed too passive. Now Hearn sees a different Parker, balanced, motivated, and fighting with freedom. He describes Parker as a man reborn, not just trying to stay relevant, but reclaim greatness. Hearn drives the point home with a simple truth. Timing in boxing is everything. And right now, timing favors Parker. In boxing, timing is everything. When a fighter peaks too late, the spark...
I feel he knows, and he's grown in confidence since that. I mean, he's in a great place, Dubois, and he can win that fight. He can win that fight. He's a big...
Spark fades. Joseph Parker at this moment is perfectly placed, experienced, confident, and hungry. Daniel Dubois, by contrast, fights not to build a lasting legacy but to silence critics. That kind of desperation can be dangerous. On fight night, pressure often becomes an invisible opponent, doing more damage than punches ever could. Trainer Dave Coldwell highlights this in his analysis. For Dubois, expectations have always been suffocating, from fans, promoters, and even his own team. Against Joe Joyce, the weight of British hype crushed him. Against Alexander Usyk, under the glare of the world spotlight, he buckled again. Parker, meanwhile, has walked through that fire. He's carried the hopes of a nation, entered hostile arenas full of doubt, and found ways to deliver. Dubois, on the other hand, has repeatedly shown that pressure breaks him. Coldwell makes it clear Dubois doesn't just have to beat Parker. He has to beat the ghosts of Joyce and Usyk, a near impossible task. When the same cracks resurface every time the lights shine brightest, history tends to repeat itself. Parker enters this fight free and unburdened, fighting with balance and purpose. Dubois enters weighed down by doubts and expectations, a massive difference at the heavyweight level. This clash isn't just about bragging rights. For Parker, a victory would cement his...
The physique of Dubois, he's not bigger than Zhang. He's not as fast as Wilder. So Joe's faced all these things that Dubois has, but not to the same extent.
His rebirth and potentially pave the way to becoming a two-time world heavyweight champion. It would prove that resilience, adaptability, and experience still triumph over raw power and size. For Dubois, it's a test of character as much as skill. Can he finally silence critics who say he folds under pressure, or will the same story unfold once again? Even Frank Warren, Dubois' longtime promoter, admits his fighter has much to learn. Warren compares him to Frank Bruno, who suffered setbacks but always came back stronger. The difference? Bruno's losses came only against the very best, and he showed undeniable steel when rebuilding. Dubois' defeats weren't just losses, they were surrenders, leaving fans questioning whether he has the mindset to recover. At its core, this fight is about two opposing energies colliding. Dubois, a man trying to exorcise demons, desperate to prove he belongs among the elite. Parker is a man chasing legacy, confident in his craft, and moving steadily toward greatness. Analysts like Johnny Nelson, Carl Froch, Andy Lee, Eddie Hearn, Dave Coldwell, and Mark Tibbs all point to the same truth. Parker represents composure, resilience, and technical mastery, while Dubois represents uncertainty. Yes, Dubois has youth and power, but boxing has shown us time and again
this is the right time for him. It doesn't mean he's going to win, but I'll tell you what, he'll never get a better chance because mentally, physically, even spiritually, like you can see how happy he is in his preparation and in life at the moment, that this just might be the right time for him to become a two-time world heavyweight.
That power without composure becomes chaos, and chaos gets punished at the elite level. Parker thrives in those very moments where Dubois has crumbled before. When the bell rings, this fight won't just decide rankings, it will decide reputations. One man fights with freedom, the other with baggage. When they collide, only one story will survive.